I'm Chaplain John Butler, and I've performed many of these celebrations of life. Almost too many. But we are here to honor the memory of Anthony Eric Denham, otherwise known as Tony. Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believe in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Revelation chapter 14 says, And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. Tony portrayed Civil War artillery, portraying battles that were fought in the 1860s. And with that, I'm going to have my fifers play Onward Christian Soldiers.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
There's a song, I'm sure some of you know it. It's called I've Got More to Go to Heaven For Than I Did Yesterday. A gospel song that sings much truth nowadays. A lot of friends and family have been called home. And I can say, I won't say that Tony met an untimely end, or an untimely passing. True, it may have seemed untimely to us, but as Stonewall Jackson had stated, I am as safe on this battlefield as I am in my own bed. There is only one who has the number on my life. And when that number is up, he will call me home. Unfortunately for us, Anthony's number had come up. We did not know it, but it is all in God's timing. Just as the other song says, when Jesus is 4 days late, he's still on time. In Job, it says, I know that my Redeemer lives, that he shall end at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. Uncover. Lord, let me know my end and the number of days, that I may be certified how long I have to live. Behold, thou hast made my days as it were a span long, and my age is even as nothing in respect of thee. Verily, every man living is altogether vanity. Amen.
Amen.
Tony Denham was a character. I'm sure, as I just heard some laughter, that is very true. Well, he was a character to me. Always acting a grouchy old man. Even say crouchy old man. Always throw banners back and forth. Oh, it's you again. I'd throw back, yeah, it's me, what you gonna do about it? But yet, every morning he offered me spam and eggs. Every day he welcomed me on his cannon. He was simply a man that stood for what he believed and wasn't afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah.
Whether that got him in trouble or not, it didn't matter to Anthony. He spoke his mind. Born in Stamford, Kentucky, to Leslie Thomas Denham and Beverly Burgess Manning, attending Lincoln County High School and joined the Army. He was highly enthusiastic in his hobbies. They were Civil War reenacting, got into cannon making, and I believe Buck, no, is it Buck that he made?
No, the smaller one.
The smaller one, Tony. The one now named Tony he made. He was into old cars. And I could remember the Facebook post. We were friends on Facebook, and he posts with him in his old-time suit, and the photo was all old-timey. And he would stand so proudly with his Model T or any of the other cars that he had. He had a passion for history and things of eras bygone. He worked for Osceola County land management, or the land waste management. He married to Lenore March 26, 1990. The love of his life, the light of his life. They raised 4 stout boys: Daniel, Kevin, William, and George. It was here at Narcoosee that I met Tony maybe 12 years ago. I didn't fight with him at first. It was about maybe 4 years. Buck Custer comes up to me, and I knew Buck long before I knew Tony, but Buck says, hey, we need some help. I know you're cross-trained on the cannon. Can you assist? I said, okay, no problem. And so I've been fighting with the 2nd Florida, and that was the starting of the Denham Butlers. And when Buck passed away, Anthony come in and is like, you know what? As ornery as you are, we like having it. Can you continue this tradition? He and I would banter back and forth with insults, pleasant, friendly insults. But I always felt welcome. Many of others who have stories of themselves and Tony, I am now going to open up. Anyone at all, please just come forward or just stand and start talking. Don't anyone jump in? Come on, Kevin. I know you guys.
Yeah. So, Dad and I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans, the group that is actually putting this battle on today. They acquired a mountain howitzer. It's actually in the tent over here. Have a chance to stop and look at it. Well, the commanders of the Jacob Summerlin camp, they liked the gun and they liked showing it off, but they didn't like, they didn't want us taking it to events and stuff. They didn't want us reenacting with it. So Dad says, we're going to build a cannon. And I said, what? Mom said, huh? So we took measurements. websites, all kinds of stuff on the internet for how to build a cannon. There's this great website that has schematics and everything. It also talks about deer hunting with a mountain howitzer. It's buttsticks.com. It's the best read you'll ever have. Dad loved that website. But him and I got started, and we ended up with what was previously named Tom, but we've rededicated as Tony, the smaller gun on the field here, closest to me. Then a couple years later, we got contacted. There was a group that had our Parrot rifle, and they said, "We don't use it anymore. Do you want it?" And Dad says, "What are we going to do with 2 guns?" I said, "We're gonna play with them." Yep. And here we are. We've been doing this about 12 years now, and Dad loved every minute of it.
Yes, he did. Amen.
And that's why we're doing this here, because this was his favorite battlefield. So, anybody else?
Please.
Thank you, John.
My Uncle Tony, when he was talking about the classic cars, he got me into going to Old Town all the time.
Every Saturday.
We would always be in the cruise. I would sit in the back of the old Chevy that he had. I can't remember what model it was. It was the teal one.
Hold on, 55 Ford.
That one. That's what it was. My Uncle Tony was my whole world. He was always there for me when my dad passed away. He was there for me when my mom was sick. He was there for me for everything. He was a good man. He never talked down about anybody. He always had a lot of respect.
Put you on this motorcycle. I got that picture.
That was the only person I'd trust being on a motorcycle.
Thanks.
I had okay. Well, let's put it that way. Kevin, I did ride with him, but I was still scared. And I think Uncle Tony was the first one I actually went on the highway with him. I don't know, like, well, my Aunt Lynn called me and told me about everything, and my mom, and I lost it, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. He helped raise me with my Aunt Lynn when my mom was working a lot. My mom worked 3 jobs just to support me and my sisters. And my Uncle Tony never hesitated to watch me.
Where'd we take you to eat?
Garden.
I was gonna say it.
They
We're going to
always took
Crazies.
me out to go crazy, and it was Golden Corral. Every time that I was with them, I would ask where we were going. And my Uncle Tony would turn around and we were going crazy.
Going crazy.
And I was always excited. I actually started working at Golden Corral when they started, they moved over here in Leesburg, and I worked over there. And when they found out that I was working there, my Aunt Lynn and my Uncle Tony used to always come and see me. Even though they had their certain servers that they loved, they always tried to sit on my side when I was working. And I'm still gonna go to this day every single time I go to Crown. And taking that chance to go into Old Town and just seeing the classic cars. He got me into that. He got me loving that, and just seeing every step of what he made and put together. He could put anything together. It didn't matter what it was. That part. But
For his ashes, that's the picture. When we got married, we stood up.
they got married on my birthday.
Just
Those
tomorrow.
both, they both asked me. Yeah, they both asked me if they could, and that was the best birthday gift I could ever have. And I will never forget that day.
16th birthday.
Yep, that's what I was just telling Dad about that. And it was the first time I ever danced with my Uncle Tom. And this picture is one of them. And if it wasn't for my cousin, I wouldn't have it.
Anyone else? Anyone at all? Please.
Went to the reenactors. They said that they needed somebody. They were hurting for people. Well, when they were asking me, they were hurting. So anyways.
Dig in the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's great. So anyways, I didn't have any uniform or anything. No problem, we'll give me a uniform. So they gave me a uniform, and I liked it the first time we was out here. I was just going to sit and watch, like you all do. So the next thing I knew, I was back here buying jacket, pants, the whole works. And they got me into it ever since. And that's, I don't know how many years it is now.
About 12.
12. Yeah. And what we used to do, and I like that really a lot, we go back into the forest back here, pitch a tent, and Tony was the cook. And he always say, what do you want for breakfast? How do you like your eggs? He had eggs and Spam. That was the
Spam
big
and
deal.
eggs. That was
So,
the breakfast.
I had Spam for years, but I liked it. So he said, how do you like your eggs? Well, I like buying scrambled. Tom, he liked his over, Tom here, he liked his over easy. Tony's way of making eggs was after he drops them into the skillet, he took the thing and smashed all the eggs, and you had to be satisfied with what you got. Well, it was funny because we used to always have this guy here coming over breakfast every day. He was over there for breakfast, not just our camp. He was over at 14 other camps.
That is true.
This coffee cup.
Yeah, that's a coffee cup. Well, that was my story anyways.
That story is true, by the way. That was one time I had 3 breakfasts. I felt like a hobbit.
Donations for the church.
Anybody else? Oh, we got.
I worked with him. I shot cannon with him, but when I found out he was like the flywheels and all that, the antique tractors, I sold him a 1952 tractor, and he took care of that thing and rebuilt it. Shared all of it with me.
Yep.
Yep. Well, that'd be sold.
Yep.
But he was a good guy. He blew rifles for me, all kinds of stuff. Always doing something.
That's that right.
I might have to harken back to some other people here, but I remember a time when y'all were building the cannon, maybe close to that period of time. There's a fellow by the name of Donnie Collins had a place out on Kenansville.
Yeah.
And he had a backstop, and then through the meetings we come up with we could get together out there and shoot. And yeah. And this was such a fine time, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's some film of it maybe floating around on Facebook or somewhere, because y'all were into Facebook stuff. I was just figuring that stuff out. But I had an M1 carbine.
Yep.
Your dad had an M1 carbine.
Which I have now.
And John Holmes had an M1 carbine.
I've got a picture of the 2 of you side by side firing.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so that was 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we loaded up them M1 carbines with 30 round clips of 30 caliber ammo. And Tony, I think it was Tony, said, you know what? It'd be cool. It'd be really cool if we all got in a line with full clips and started working our way to towards the target and shooting 1, 2, 3 down the line. As we annihilated that target to where it wasn't nothing but paper left on the ground when it was done. That's all. There's pictures of that.
I have picture.
I deny it.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
I thought it was fun.
Were you there?
Anyone else? Kevin, would you like to post the cannons while I finish
Mom
up?
has something to
Oh, very good. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, everyone.
Gomer Pilot.
Hey, I'm here. Lord, there is. I want to say, before we close with the cannons and the final, I want to say thank you to everyone that has showed here and told me stories. Because here's the thing, I love Tony dearly. Tomorrow is our anniversary. And I will bring his red velvet cupcake.
Oh.
His love is,
We like red velvet.
well, we've been together over 30 years since this one was a knee knocker when I met Tony. And he raised him and my other son, and we had 4 boys. That he had 2 original boys, and we had 4 boys that grew up to be good men. But what I want to speak is, Tony would never talk with me about a funeral. He said, I'm too young. He said, I'm not ready for this. And I said, please, Tony, I need to know, because I almost died 3 years ago. And he took care of me, and he put me to what I am today. Yeah, I still need a little oxygen. I still have to have respiratory breathing. But all I could ever get out of him is, don't worry, he says, I don't have enough friends to carry my casket. That's 6 people to carry a casket, and he said that. And I said, oh no, I said, I know better. And as we see, there's well more than 6 people that were good friends and loved you dearly. Maybe not as much as I do, but I know y'all. He put something in every one of y'all's hearts and I'm doing this, but I will have to yet finalize his ashes in Kentucky, which is his hometown, and his mom and dad and his high school and all that. And he will have his military honors from the American Legion there. But we are going to do a Civil War military honor for him also here. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. He's looking down on us and he's saying, boy, that's more than 6 people, you know? And I don't know, it's been so hard because it was such a quick shock. It was not expected at all. And when I walked into the hospital, and the nurse looked at me and she said, I was just with him 5 minutes ago. And he looked fine. And I said, can I please go in and see him? And they had him back in bed. And because they found him in the bathroom on the floor, unconscious, and did CPR for 25 minutes.
The family is not the only ones that he has survived by. As Lenora said, Tony touched a part of each and every one of you. Even if he couldn't see it, we are watched, each and every one of us. Tony touched your hearts. Let Jesus and his Spirit fill that hole. Lord, what is my hope? Truly my hope is in thee. Deliver me from all mine offenses, and make me not a rebuke unto the foolish. When thou rebukest, do chasten man for sin. Thou makes his beauty to consume away, like it were a moth fretting a garment. Every man therefore is but vanity. I must go post on the cannon now, and then we'll have a salute. Make sure you're ready.
Go ahead. Put 6 rounds in there. Battery, make ready. From the left, 2-second interval.
For you, Tony.
Fire. Cover.
I'm going again.
Yep. That's the one, then 2 on the way back.
Back around.
Try that one. Better. Make ready.
Make ready.
Good sound.
Almost keeping up with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom. Yes, sir. Clean out the buck after this round if you would. After this round, I'll go back up. Yep. Absolutely.
Make ready. Battery fire on me. For First Sergeant Tony Denham. Fire!
I told him that, Tony, it's okay, I can run both positions front end. He said, I don't think you can. I said, try me. Now, Tony, what do you think about that? Both positions on the front and chaplain. For you, my friend.